Is it possible for you to put up my slide?
You know what? Yes, let me see if I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to share the screen. Okay, can everyone see it?
It's an empty screen right now. Yes, you can see it.
Okay, so that's a slide.
Okay. Can you put it on slideshow?
Okay, let me see. Yeah.
Just at the extreme.
Okay.
The single one at the extreme, your extreme, no, at the bottom of the slide.
Okay.
That's,
okay, here you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You haven't clicked it.
Okay, I'll go. I think. Okay.
All right. Great. Good evening, everybody. Or is it afternoon? People, is their morning. It's my pleasure to be here to present to us on this issue of rehabilitation and restoration of victims of sexual abuse and rape. And my area of focus, which I have been given to share in this 10 minutes, is to look at the roadmap for healing, rehabilitation, and restoration for survivors of rape. And secondly, the need for safe haven shelter for victims. And I would sincerely just focus on this, because if I do more than that, I will exceed my 10 minutes that has been allotted to me. Next slide, please. So we are looking at combating domestic violence, rape, and exploitation of children and women. And this is our inaugural outing, I believe, of the organization that has brought us together. This is who I am. I'm working with the University of Nigeria College of Medicine and the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital. I'm also the director of the Center for Clinical Trials of the UNN. I also drive initiatives, NGOs in cancer, Breast Without Spots, and also in clinical trial, Association for Good Clinical Practice in Nigeria, and African Clinical Trial Consortium, and a number of other initiatives that I am in. So next slide, please. I'm keen in, the next slide, please. I'm keen immediately on the roadmap for healing, rehabilitation, and restoration for survivors of rape. Please, the one before that, not this one.
The one before that, okay.
Yeah, the one before.
Okay, I need to.
You're going down instead of up. You need to go up.
I need to, let me do this. I think,
go up, you're still going down.
Okay, hold on, let me stop the sharing and then I'll start afresh.
Okay. All right. So I will continue talking while so that the minutes will not be going. On that slide that I would like us to focus on, we find that I've said that there is a need to embark on a widespread awareness. It's not this one, the next, yes. You've skipped it again.
Okay.
The one with all the blue circles, the one with all the blue circles on it. Yes, this one, okay. Yeah. Yeah, stay there. So a widespread public awareness campaign to nurture the entire population, to engage them, to carry them along on this journey. We need to, as we do that, one of the areas of our focus should be to nurture and engage with media partners. Media partners are so key to have a buy-in. So even at this initiation period of what we want to achieve, we need to take up media partners. I found them completely invaluable in the journey for cancer control and the journey for clinical trial. Once you get them as partners and they understand what you want to achieve, they understand the social impact you want to achieve, they understand the social change you want to achieve, then they begin to see that social change rather than your organization as whom they are helping. Praise the Lord. So we raise awareness. We then, carry them along as we raise awareness. I know that now raising awareness is done a lot on social media. So social media engagement will be very, very important, especially Twitter. We need to have several Twitter summits. Raise awareness, public enlightenment, as I said, we'll have it as electronic, including social media and print media. So if you go to your right, you see that I have a slide that talks about putting up a setup, an implementation setup. And that setup would comprise a governing board to be able to look after any fund that we are going to get to do this, because we do need funds. Even for the awareness campaign, we need funds. We need funds to establish, we need funds for, putting together our plans, our strategy, and implementing them. So we need administrators and managers. We need to create a funding model, which will comprise fundraising events like Princess has outlined to us, in-kind donations, especially for accommodation, to create safe havens, which will double as offices for the organization. Fundraising events, GoFundMe efforts, entrepreneurship projects that will be owned by the safe havens and the inhabitants of the safe haven. Education fund to ensure that those who are at the stages of needing to have an education can be educated. Then we go to the left side, we see that we build synergy with all groups that are actually currently advocating for the social change. There are many groups at the moment, several groups. So we need to, synergize with them so that we have a kind of one voice and, be speaking the same language so the public doesn't get confused. However, our own trust is a bit different because what we are doing is not engaging ourselves in discussing the problem. We are engaging ourselves in finding a solution to the problem. So societal acceptance, we need to, in that awareness creation, we need to carry the entire public along to be able to accept the issue. And what I mean by accepting the field where she deserved to have this kind of treatment meted out to her. We need to therefore deal with that judgmental mien. We need to look at the areas of stigmatization so that if people survive this entire episode, they are not going to be afraid that the society will stigmatize them. Then we need to farm up the empathy of the public. Then in the last part of the slide, on the slide on the right side, we need to partner with psychologists who will train counselors, volunteer counselors for the safe havens, and create support groups. These support groups will be made up and are going to remain inside of there and begin to be the facilitators of these support groups, because by sharing their experiences and their journey of survival and restoration and rehabilitation, they'll be able to motivate and bring confidence to those who are coming in for the first time and later on, and help to build them up. So safe havens, a safe vehicle for change that I see. They're going to be the main vehicle for change. Please, can you go to the next slide? So, and safe havens are a place of refuge or security, a shelter or a place of safety, and temporary refuge given to persecuted person or groups and victims of exploitation. A heaven isn't necessarily as wonderful as the heaven that we are all looking forward to be, but it is a good place to find when you are in trouble or someone is after you. This word often appears in the phrase safe heaven, which is a good reminder of its meaning. A heaven is a safe place, and people who are in trouble tend to seek havens. Next slide, please. So the rationale for this being the driver for this rehabilitation effort and restoration effort is that safe havens are spaces where vulnerable individuals can go in a time of crisis. They can be physical, mental, or emotional places where the vulnerable are places where vulnerable individuals feel protected and safe from the harm and can gain a sense of need for a safe haven can range from vulnerable individuals living in an emergencies, so it's just an emergency kind of, temporary effort, to those experiencing abuse and those whose wounds or fears emanate from discrimination based on disability, ethnicity, gender, race, religion, and vulnerable individuals at risk of exploitation and abuse. They need safe havens in order to survive and thrive. So across the developing world, it can sometimes be difficult for overworked and overwhelmed adults and families who may already be convinced that they need to give support to the person who has been exploited, but they may not find, enough time to be able to deal with the traumatized person that needs an overdose of emotional caring and counseling and support. And it would be good for us to be able to offer such a person a shelter for that temporary time when he needs rehabilitation and re-emotionalization. So safe haven communication is important because safety and security, they are foundations for developing and learning well. Even if the victims do not talk about their sensitive or difficult issues, they can still feel many emotions that can have a negative impact on all areas of their development. Some of them even go on to commit suicide. So although communication cannot replace human interaction or special therapy, it can help victims understand that they are not alone and provide examples of how they and others can cope and be comforted. And finally, safe havens can soothe and create a respite from existing pain, even for these counselors who will nurture them, who will re-emotionalize them into stability, emotional stability. We come to how do we have a sustainable plan? You're going high too high. The one that I have, the blue one. So we need to work at being self-sufficient. That is this safe havens, the blue one. This safe havens being self-sufficient. So we need to put up entrepreneurship projects, agricultural projects, product development, that will involve like producing shoes, bags. There are so many industrial efforts, initiatives that is going on in Nigeria now, bringing up profound products that are comparable to those that people import from abroad. And then we need to embark on school projects. So everything will be targeted to not all the time cap in hand begging for money. We should be able to create IGR, internally generated revenue. So the last few slides are just to show us an example of safe haven and some of the activities they do. In the adjoining ones, the next slides, please. So in the one, you see that it says, join the nation's largest 5-kilometer run to end homelessness. So this is a safe haven provided, but it continues to have events, an annual event that everybody knows about. And it's like a 5-kilometer run. So you run for safe havens to be able to provide shelter for such people. Next one. Just ideas. Inaugural global virtual run and walk to end. So you can walk, you can run, you can, initiate all sorts of, you can do balls, you can do survivorship balls, you can do any kind of events that will be able to raise money. You can even do fairs, trade fairs, encourage people that have businesses to donate their wares, and people come and make purchases, and whatever is recruited there will go into the funds. Outbreak is devastating to them. Put up signs that will touch the hearts of people, help the homeless. So these are signs we can put in, different shopping areas, different strategic public areas, and have, maybe an ability for people to drop their change. Even in airlines, be able to do that. So invite a safe haven to be your charity partner. So we can ask different organizations, corporations, church, FBOs, faith-based organizations to partner with us in this effort and to create a fund that their members can contribute to, and different corporate organizations to also create their CSR through supporting this effort. And we can create a heroes medal where we are, during our events, we honor people who have supported the initiative. Different ways, that this is just what the last slides are talking about. Just go to the very last slide where I'm saying thank you. Before then, let me just say we can also create newsletters. Creation of newsletters which can publish our activities and ways to bring global visibility into what we're doing, and which will engender confidence in the fact that the monies which we are being given are being utilized properly and put into good use. So as I thank you, I don't know if you'll be able to manipulate this, but at the bottom, if you click that picture, there's a button that says play. There's a button right at the bottom that says play. If you click that picture, and
I'm not seeing
see that these children are, the picture in that thank you slide. If you click it, it's the little button just at the bottom of that picture. If you click it, it's a start button. Anyway, what it says is that it's motivating these young children, and what they are actually saying is that they are that if it is too hard, just push, motivation. So this is what I want to end, by encouraging all of us. Ahead of us, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of commitment, it's going to be a lot of sacrifice, but I can bet you that it is doable. Thank you very much for listening.